blogger and creator of the blog Miss Right Says, as well as OMG OBGYN. I wanted to introduce all of our panelists, and then each one of them are going to give a little bit more background about who they are and what they do. So to my immediate right, I have Miss Salena Collins.
Hi.
Salena is the owner and founder of Clear Gardens Yoga Studio. I have Dr. Lisa Upshaw, and many of you know her probably already as Dr. Lisa. And Dr. Lisa is a chiropractor as well as a holistic health practitioner who specializes in acupuncture and functional nutrition, something that I think we all definitely need. To her right is Dr. Melissa Natavio, and she is the Director of Family Planning Fellowship, and she's also an assistant professor for the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at the Keck School of Medicine at USC. And last but not least, we have Ms. Lauren Cornell, and Lauren is a registered dietitian.
I've been practicing yoga for 8 years, been instructing for about 4, and opened up the yoga studio about 3 years ago. I was diagnosed myself with fibroids when I was 18. It did affect me, but I would have to say that I feel like yoga has definitely helped me be able to kind of deal with it and get over it. I also just had my first daughter 5 months ago. So thank you. I know a little bit about fibroids and how it could possibly have an effect on fertility. But for me, it didn't. I feel like I said, yoga did help with that. And it also did help me with my pregnancy. It was very easy, very smooth. And also, I want to talk a little bit about aging. I know as ladies, we all kind of like shy away from that, right? We don't want to. But yoga is definitely can help us with that. It helps us improve our posture. It helps us feel confident. And it also helps us to detoxify and keep our bodies clean. It helps us to relax, it helps us to reduce wrinkles and anything along the lines of aging. I also want to touch on the subject of yoga and our sex drive. Well, yoga itself is a practice that helps us with our senses. Pretty much it helps us become more in tune with our bodies, with ourselves, and it also helps us with our confidence. So those factors are so important when it comes to us dealing with our partners. It helps us to be a little bit more open, and it helps us, like I said, to be a little bit more in tune with ourselves and with our own bodies. So nobody, when you have confidence, others can barely deny you. It doesn't matter, we feel good, so other people can feel our energy and how good we feel about ourselves, and people are just naturally drawn and attracted to that. Well, it also helps us to improve our stamina because we're being physically active, and I don't know, it's just all around good. It helps us with our breathing. It helps us be a little bit more flexible with our bodies. And it does so much for us. It helps our body become more lean. And it also helps build elasticity in our skin so that our skin can stay beautiful and glowing and healthy. And yoga itself is a practice. It'll take me forever to really go into it, but it pretty much has 8 limbs to it, or 8 different portions to it. And it starts from the outsides of our body, and it will work its way into our everyday life as far as finding balance. That's what it's all about, is finding balance for yourself, for your body, and for your lifestyle. But we are able to start from the outside and our physical body, with that being said. All yoga asanas or poses, they can be called either one, they have a modification. So a lot of times I get students that come to class who are like, I can barely move. As a matter of fact, I actually just talked for Sickle Cell Awareness Month at Kaiser Permanente. And I had students that literally stopped at the door and was like, okay, never mind, I don't want to do it, because they feel like they can't push their bodies or go to a certain point. Your body is your body. As long as you go to the point that's good for you and you feel a little bit better, no matter what, it's going to start to improve. So whether you do have arthritis or whether we do have any other conditions, or for myself, it was fibroids. I mean, as long as you start somewhere, that's the main point. And there's always a modification to help you ease into it so that you don't have to shy away from it, or you don't have to feel insecure about it. There is a practice and there's a pose for everybody for you to start. Yeah.
what about some of the topics that we've been talking about as it relates to fibroids or other reproductive health issues? Can yoga be a treatment?
Definitely. I'm glad that you brought up the word stress. Stress is a contributing factor to a lot of ailments that we have as women. Where yoga plays a role or a part in that is that yoga helps us to de-stress and to have a little bit more clarity. That way we're not focusing on the problem, we're focusing more so on bettering ourselves, and it could definitely help eliminate contributing to fibroids or the growth of them. Like I said, I have fibroids myself, and I noticed that when I started practicing a little bit more, that I didn't have so many of the negative symptoms. My periods were not as heavy, they weren't as painful, because I was more relaxed about it. I wasn't stressed out about it, and it definitely helped me in my life. So I think yoga could definitely be a treatment for fibroids or for any other ailments that are stress related.
So I know sometimes people are a little reluctant to try yoga because you think, I have to be super flexible to do it. And what might be some advice for people who are new to the practice? Maybe you can also share a little bit how you came to the practice. I know you were introduced at an early age.
I started practicing yoga at the age of 17. I was in the 12th grade, getting ready to graduate, and just was walking around an area near my high school and came across a yoga studio. And I'm like, oh, what is this? So I actually just walked in. The lady at the desk said that the next class started in a few minutes, and I decided to try it. I fell in love with it ever since. Like, I had no idea that feeling that good even existed. I'm not exaggerating, I am so serious, and I've been practicing every day since. Well, I want to tell you, you do not have to go in there being flexible. That's the whole point in starting. You don't have to already know the poses. You don't have to be familiar with it. Like I mentioned earlier, there's modifications and there's an easy approach to every single part of yoga. So you don't have to know what you're doing, you don't have to be flexible, and wherever your body can go or how far you can go, that's what will feel good for you at that point in time. And I can also say I've had students that have started with me and can barely sit down in a pose that's called hero's pose. We've all sat that way when we were kids, where our feet are kind of tucked underneath us and our hands rest in our lap. And when I say within a matter of 3 months, they could sit on the heels of their feet, like, they can do it. And it just has to start somewhere. And wherever you start, you can grow from there and get better. Each time you feel better and more confident about it. And one of the things I want to also tell you is that if there's something on one side of our body bothering us, we tend to compensate on the other side. So if you're, if your left side is bothering you, then you'll unconsciously compensate more so on your right side. So it is really important it's probably even more so important for you to practice yoga, to try to balance that out and to try to find that evenness in your body and that alignment. That's what yoga is about. It's about alignment and balance. It's never about being flexible or being able to touch your toes. That's the furthest thing that it's actually about. It's about finding balance, being comfortable with yourself, and trusting your body. That's it.
Can we give them all a round of applause? This event is, I guess you could say, a creation of mine because probably like all of you, I've had questions since I started visiting my OBGYN, and those questions have grown progressively as I've matured and had various experiences, and then hear stories from women of all different ages. And I found myself sometimes when I would experience something, I'd go online, like we all probably shouldn't, go to WebMD, and I'd look up something because I couldn't get a doctor's appointment right away, and so I'd say, oh my God, I have that. Or I'd find all of these forums of women very frustrated, not knowing how they could maybe treat certain things at home, or questions that maybe a lot of us have. And so I really wanted this day to be about conversation, about sisterhood and sharing, and lastly, letting you know that you're not alone, because I think so many times we suffer in silence and we think, oh my God, I'm the only person that's going through what I'm going through. And I think it's safe to say, with the number of people who've signed up for this event, it's a need, and women want to know more about what's happening with their overall health.